I promise part 2 of this is very short. We're going to play a little game called Is It a Function? To start, I want you guys to copy down from memory the definition of a function. I'm actually going to pause the video and come back with what the definition is, and I want to see if yours matches mine. This is your one shot to kind of memorize this definition, because I will ask this on the first quiz that we do, the second quiz that we do, and the final test for this chapter. You must know this. Did you get that it was a type of relation? That was the very first thing. We can talk about x's and y's, but you must know that it is a type of relation, and you also must know that a relation is any set of ordered pairs or any collection of ordered pairs. The next part is to say in which each element of the domain. You guys too many times think about that as each x, but let's get at what it really is. It's each possible x, each element of the domain. The next one is to say is transformed into. So each possible x is going to be transformed. One and only one. The next piece is to say one and only one. Because of the way this transformation is working, I must know what each element of the domain transforms into. And for that to work, it has to transform into one and only one element of the range. We said that the range is called many things, sometimes codomain, sometimes target, but it's all the possible y's. So as I pull this definition apart again, a type of relation in which each element of the domain is transformed into one and only one element of the range, I have the definition of a function. Now, I am not Mr. Hicks asking you guys to memorize a massive original oratory. I'm asking for one definition. So take it, note card it, cover it up, rewrite it, memorize it. I'm telling you this now. Don't wait on this one. I'm going to ask this before you know it. Remember, all quizzes may or may not be announced. So, for my first example, and these are the easiest ones, I'm going to draw kind of 4 different graphs here. Actually, let's go more than 4. Let's go 6. These are sketches, so you can sketch these down too. They don't have to be precise. So, here's 6 different grids, and on the first one, let's just draw a little squiggly like this. And on the second one, let's draw a straight line. Kind of misnomer because all lines are straight. Let's draw a circle. Then let's draw an upside down parabola. Then we're going to do a vertical line, also a straight line. And then we're going to do a collection of points on this last one. Done like this. And I'm going to make sure that 2 of those points are perfectly vertical of each other, because we're going to discuss this. So in each of these different graphs, we have an x-axis and a y-axis. And I told you guys you didn't have to label those, but right now I'm going to, because this is going to be important as we talk about a collection of ordered pairs. And the question for each of these different graphs is it a function? And as I begin to explore that question, does it represent a function? That's a better question, actually. Does it represent a function? Because a graph is a representation of a collection of ordered pairs. It's a representation of a relation. So does it represent a function? Well, one way to tell is this thing that's called a vertical line test. This is a very easy visual way to do it, and several of you probably have heard of this before. What a vertical line test means is that a function must not have a vertical line pass through more than one point in order for it to be a function. A function must not have a vertical line pass through more than one point. And one question that I tend to put on an exam has to do with why this works. So, we're going to kind of put this down here. If a vertical line were to pass through more than one point, it would mean that I have an x going to more than one y. And that is not a function, because I don't know what each element of the domain was transformed into conclusively. It would mean I have an x going to, or transformed into, or paired with, or mapped to more than one y. So I sort of like to think of a function as a question. What does x become? And you should be able to answer that question conclusively. And if you can't, it's not a function. So we're going to take a vertical line, and I'm actually going to create one right here. And I'm going to select it and drag it left to right. And if it crosses through more than one point, it's not a function. So for this first example, at no point does it cross through more than one point of this graph. So I get to say that this one is, yes, a function. And then as I move on to the next one, and I start to drag this vertical line left and right, this one also does not pass through more than one point. So yes, that one would be a function too. But as we approach the circle, we can see that at most of the points here, it's actually crossing through more than one point. So a circle from an xy perspective would not be a function. Continuing on to the parabola left to right, that doesn't pass through more than one point. So yes, that is a function. The vertical line is a vertical line, and right here it passes through every point on that. So that would not be a function. And I'd want you to think back to when we actually had the equation of a vertical line. They were x equals equations. This would be something like x equals -3. And I cannot set that equal to y because there is no y. And that's another reason it's not a function. Lastly, if I took that vertical line and I pass it left to right, right here with these 2 points on top of each other, it passes through more than one point. So this collection of ordered pairs would not be a function, or no. If I list off the ordered pairs, we practiced this one yesterday. 1, 2, 1, 5, and 6, 7. Because I have an x going to more than one y, this one would not be a function. But 5, 1, 7, 1, and 8, 1. If I was 5, if I was 7, if I was 8, I would know exactly what number I go to. And even though they all go to the same number, it is a function because I can answer the question, what does this number become?